Hello, Blues, and welcome back to Inside the Tower. Today we're talking transfers, and we're going to discuss strikers. We've been linked with a number over the transfer window. Currently, Beto is one that could be moved on if you read the reports. Potentially Nottingham Forest looking at him. Got Liam back with us today, and we're going to look at the striker options. We all know David Moyes was seen Burnley versus West Ham over the weekend, and a said striker scored two goals, late two goals, and Moyes was there, and it's been linked with us. What are your thoughts on him, Liam?
Um, I think it's a David Moyes type of signing, if I'm honest with you. Obviously did pretty well last season in the Premier League at a very poor Burnley side as well. He was called up to the Dutch squad. I don't think he's actually had a cap for them yet, but he's certainly a player with experience. He's been around the Premier League and English football for some time. 28, scores goals really. And he scores goals off very little chances created. So, is he much better than Beto and Barry? It's hard to tell. I mean, I think he scored 11 last season for Burnley, so it's slightly better than the both of them. But whether that would be improved in a better team, I don't know. It doesn't always work that way. So, watch this space, I suppose. But it certainly is a Moyes like signing for me.
Just so everyone knows, we are talking about Zian Flemming from Burnley. Um, yeah, I mean, people will criticise us because we're looking at another Championship player and a striker, maybe not at the level that a lot of Evertonians would think we should be getting. Um, and I get people's expectations on strikers are up here, but realistically, just because you're not looking up there doesn't mean that striker's not going to come in and fit the team and fit the way we play and do really well. Um, a lot of criticism around like Liam Delap, for example, people saying why are we going after him, but obviously he fits this type of striker we're looking for. And I think my personal opinion is if we got the likes of Liam Delap in with the attacking force behind him, I think he would be brilliant for Everton. Um, it doesn't mean that player's not going to be good enough or not do well. Um, Obviously, there's what would you say about Liam Delap? Because obviously that's one that's not going away. I said recently that it would be a loan deal that Everton would be looking at because we're not going to sign him for 40 million. What were your thoughts on him, Liam?
He's a player with potential still. I know he must be 23, 20. He must be 24 now, surely. Um, he's someone with potential, obviously, and he's got some quality there. And I see what you mean. He's kind of full on, you know, strong, athletic, can finish, but he's also got a bit of a temperament issue. I feel he can lose it very quickly. He gets carded a lot. I know that kind of might fit, our kind of dogs of war spirit, or he might fit in that element and get stuck in. But I remember going back years ago, James Beattie getting sent off in his debut, 7, 8 minutes in for like a headbutt on, I think it was Gallas or someone. And it's that kind of you really want to do something, you want to make a mark. I think Delap would come and do that. You know what I mean? He'd be late in on a challenge or he'd get stuck in. But we don't need that anymore. We need a striker who's going to put the ball in the back of the net and just focus on simply that. Lukaku-esque, doesn't lose his head and it can concentrate. And I suppose it's where strikers are best, where we can actually concentrate and have that composure in front of goal. And we just don't seem to have had it since Lukaku per se.
Well, talking of temperaments, there's links again, and I've squashed them already. There's no truth in the rumor of us having a bid rejected from Tottenham regarding Richarlison. He's 29. He scored some goals from Spurs. It looks like his injury problems could be behind him. I mean, he's someone that could come in and do a job. But again, does he fit the mold what we want moving forward? You know, Everton seem to have this model now where we're looking for the right player as opposed to just buying anyone that we can get our hands on and waiting for the right player to come across the line. I mean, Angus Kinnear's recently said that, you know, we might not have a right back in time for the Palace game, but it may be during the deadline day because there's so many players that have to leave a club and have to move on to open that space. It's basically the football merry-go-round to make sure players are out the door. Then another one comes in, we can get our man. But with Richarlison, maybe he doesn't fit the mold, the model that we're looking at. Obviously, there's interest there because I know that there's interest in Richarlison. But what would you say? Would you have him back at Everton?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, mate. I think can't speak for every Evertonian, but I reckon at least 75% of the fan base currently would say that they would snap your arm off to have him back. We know he can score goals. He's also very versatile across that front line, and that's what you need nowadays. Of course, he can play number 9. and he can play either side of a striker. So if you're going to bed Barry in fully, or Better's going to be in and be that kind of bulldozer, then you've got Richarlison who can sit either side of him. Do you know what I mean? And you need that sometimes. And imagine him and Illy either side, or Brennan Johnson. And if we're going to start competing, and we're going to start, we saw last season, we just didn't have the squad depth, the rotation. Losing Grealish, for half a season more or less, it really kind of, it struck a chord in terms of realization for most fans that actually having Illy away at AFCON as well, and even Ghana game didn't really come back and hit the heights that they did early in the season. It just shows you need options. And someone like Richarlison, with the experience he's got, Brazil #9, he's still up there. He's still, for me, one of the best players we've had over the last couple of seasons. Injury, cost, has all got to be a factor, and that's what I think Kinnear is probably touching on in terms of his soft kind of engagement with inquiries and how it works, because they want to find the best price for players. And if it doesn't fit the mould or fit the kind of structure that we're looking at, then we won't have a deal in place.
Well, he's come out and said basically that we could have spent loads of money on the best right back out there, but then it wouldn't leave enough money for a striker. So obviously we know they're clearly looking at a right back and a striker, and they've got to fit the right price and be the right player for Everton Football Club, which I fully agree with. I think, why would you just bring anyone in? You get the right person at the right price. I think obviously all the links with the right backs that we've had, there's obviously interest in all these right backs, but we're looking for the right one. Um, and let's hope come the end of the transfer window that we have a right back. That's all on our talk on transfers today. Let us know your thoughts in the comments on what striker you'd like to see at Everton next season. Would you bring Richarlison back? Would Delap be the one? Or would Flemming from Burnley be an option? Would you have him? But as always, Blues, take care and up the toffees.